Okay there folks, I do hope you're all well, I really do. Right, number 8, we're getting at the end now, it's only 11 overall I think. Number 8 in my series, Who Do I Watch on YouTube? Now it's apologies for those that follow my channel religiously, because if you're not into who I follow, I'm sorry, because I've already done 7 of these videos. And more importantly, if you're not into Tenerife and Tenerife vloggers, you're going to be upset, because this one's got 2 more on. This is the first one where I'm going to cover 2 from Tenerife. Reason being is the smaller channels and the channels that I don't watch a lot of, although I think one of them I'm going to start watching a little bit more from time to time. The other one maybe not as much so. But before we go any further, as I say, for those people that don't know me, that haven't seen me before, I'll tell you a little bit about my channel. I'll give a little bit of a disclaimer, because if you do watch this video and you follow any of the people within it that I'm going to mention in a moment that the review is going to be about, I know you won't, or you may not like some of the things I say, depending on what I say, and you'll be wanting to have a right go at me. So I'll give you the disclaimer first and a chance to get to know a bit more about where I'm coming from before you'd ever go, and it might just stop you having a go. I don't know. Right, so this is the first one we're doing with 2 people. The smaller channels and some other ones I've covered. I've now been watching YouTube for about 20 odd months and not much more. My channel's only 8 months old. I started my channel on the back of some people I'd watched on YouTube. One of them particularly made me think, I'll have a go at that. My channel, if you've not seen it before folks, is nothing like any you've seen before, because there's nothing involved in it, or you would think there's not. There is behind the scenes, but to all intents and purposes, there's not. You're going to get no graphics, no fancy music, no editing, none of those things. Reason 1 is I'm too lazy, but the main reason is I'm the biggest technophobe in the world. And in fact, reason 3 is I don't have time to do all of that, because I'm holding down a full-time job as well. Some of the YouTubers are doing like myself and working, many of them aren't. Well, I am. Right, I'll tell a little bit about me, just so you know who I am, for those that don't watch me, those that are checking this review. And then I'll tell you what I think about these 2 YouTubers. And I'll tell you why I believe you shouldn't be jumping down my throat until you've listened to what I've got to say, and maybe even listened to something I recorded last Thursday. Right. I'm looking on YouTube 20 odd months ago, or something around that, and I'm looking for a series that's been put direct on YouTube to do sport. And I'm looking for it, and I come across some YouTubers from Tenerife. And Tenerife is pretty close to me. I'd say dear to me heart's probably a bit much, because over the last sort of 10 or 15 years I've been 7 or 8 times. It's a place I like. Along with Turkey, they're the 2 places I've been to the most over the last 15 or so years. And we tend to go one place in Tenerife and one place in Turkey. I know there's lots more in both places, but we've become creature of habits, we've become boring. Before that I used to go to America more, but I've not been in America for a while now. And I've been other places in Europe, but my favourite 2 places in Europe is this place in Turkey and this place in Tenerife. So I come across this YouTuber that's doing stuff in Tenerife, and I like what I've seen. I've watched him to this day. And then I come across the odd one more, and now I watch a few, on and off. Some I watch more than others. It's a weird time to do the video now, because I've mentioned this in videos now since Saturday. I did my first 2, I recorded 4. I released I think 2 on Friday, number 1 and number 2, who do I watch on YouTube. I released 3 and 4 on Saturday, 5 and 6 on Sunday. And what I did, the first 4 videos I recorded on Thursday, although 2 went out Friday, 2 went out Saturday. On Friday I recorded 1 for Sunday, never had a chance to do the second, and I'm glad I never, because the person involved in the second video on Sunday is part of what's just blown up in Tenerife between all the vloggers there, where they're all having a say about what's gone on. You'll all know it in it, so I'm going to mention the name straight away rather than cloak and dagger, because people aren't mentioning names. The Matt Master's done a review on a restaurant. I'm thinking it might be Harriet's, but I don't know. But I've seen it, but I don't know if that's the one. If it isn't, I think it's been taken down. If it's been taken down, that's a shame. I would like to have seen it. If anybody knows which restaurant it actually was, and it is Harriet's, please let me know if you see this video, because I don't know which restaurant it was. Just Rick, or Rick from his Just Rick channel, has called the review of whichever restaurant it was, saying they marked it down really badly. He doesn't agree with people marking restaurants, but they marked it down badly. Now I thought he was saying they weren't in good spirits when they were in there, they weren't treating staff right, or they were saying things they shouldn't, and laughing and joking. I might have misheard all that. I watched Rick's video very late one night, and then the following night I seen a reply to it. But I might have got that wrong, and if I have, then I do apologise. So I seen what Rick said, and to a great extent I agreed with him. And I agreed with him because you can affect restaurants business if you're critical, really, really, really critical. But at the other end of things, Rick himself, who does very few reviews, ones that he does with his wife Shelley, I've really liked. I have said that in a previous video. Rick, like many of the YouTubers that do food reviews, never give any bad reviews or say anything bad. Some are of the opinion that they don't like doing it. Some are of the opinion that you shouldn't because it can affect business. I don't agree. I think if you're giving a food review, you give an honest review. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's something you don't like, you tell people. I mean, it doesn't mean to say they don't go or they don't have to go. You tell people, because if you tell people, you're being honest. It's all about honesty and transparency. You don't eat some food and think it's absolutely crap, but tell everyone it's great, or eat some food and think it's crap, but I just won't review it. And at the end of the day, since I thought of this only last night, and this happened 3 or 4 days ago now, I thought, well, whichever restaurant it was, say it was Harriet's, why doesn't Rick go 3 or 4 days later, do another review of a different dish, and assuming he loves the dish, because he loves the place anyway, because it's a place he said he likes, whichever restaurant it was, whether it's Harriet's or not, it's a place that Rick says has got great reviews, does really well on Trustpilot, and it's one he likes himself. He did say that. So if I was him, I'd have gone back out, done a review, and as long as I genuinely like the food, I wouldn't bum it up if I didn't like it just to counteract what the Matmaster's done. I would eat my food, and if I loved it, I would do a review, say, well, I've been here, say, look, we know another vlogger's been in the last couple of weeks and really run the place down, said it was poor, but this food I just had was absolutely lovely, as it's been many times when I've come here. Then that video's up against the Matmasters. Now, I know Rick doesn't get as many views as the Matmaster, the channels are different in size, I know that. But that said, the Matmaster's review on Harriet's, if that's what it is only about 25 to 30,000. Rick's got 10 or 11 already on his review, which for Rick is really, really good, partly because of what he said in the review, and partly because of what he said, how many are watching it. Now, one of the things he says at the start of his review is, I'm going to lose subscribers here. Well, I listened to the first minute and a half of the video and I thought, no, you're not. You're going to gain subscribers, and I'm being awful saying this, but I tried to tell him as I see him be truthful. Rick says he's truthful, well, I am. Within a minute I thought, no, you're going to gain subscribers here, Rick, and you know you're going to gain subscribers. You're not going to lose any. You're going to have some of the Matmasters people coming on to you saying you're out of order, blah, 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 but they probably don't subscribe anyway. You have probably one of the best community threads of all of them. For your channel size, I mean, the Matmaster gets loads and loads and loads of comments, I know he does, but his channel is what? Probably 50 times the size of yours. He doesn't get 50 times more comments. Your comment section for your channel size compared to his, I would suggest is far greater. The people on it are great, they love you, they rave about how honest you are, how truthful, decent, blah, 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 blah. They normally agree with nearly everything you say, not everything, but nearly everything. I knew you were going to get more subscribers, that was a given, absolutely no problem. You was brave to say what you said and to give your review. Ultimately, the more I thought about it, I mean, initially I thought, yeah, you're right, all right to a great extent. The more I think on now, I'm 50-50. You're right to an extent, but you're wrong in others. Anybody that's a vlogger should be allowed to say whatever they want to say. He doesn't tell you what to say, you probably shouldn't tell him. As I say, if the review was on Harriet's, well then you're wrong anyway, because he's not been bad there. There's been 3 people in there, they've done it down a little bit, but 3 of them to a man have said, I've had breakfast here, I've had Sunday dinners here, they're normally fantastic. That's not doing a place down if you say you've had a bad meal. Well, I've had bad meals. I just done a review on Dan and John not so long ago. Dan and John goes, like the Matmaster, to all the same places year on year, or more often than not, they don't do different places, which is why I like Rick's, because Rick does places off the beaten track and places no one else is reviewing. I like that. I've already said that earlier on in the week. But Darren did a review somewhere the other week that I've seen him go to at least twice, maybe 3 times. Said it was out of this world. I went when I went in October. It's the worst meal I've had in 2 weeks in October. But I've been there a year ago, it was fantastic. But 2 weeks ago, it was awful. I don't do food reviews, but if I did, I would have said that. I'd have said, look, I came a year ago, fantastic. I absolutely loved it, which is why I've come back. But I've just had the chips, the steak pie, the peas and gravy. The chips weren't great, and the steak pie was really dry, and that's how it was. The peas and gravy were great, but I'm not coming away for a meal for peas and gravy. But the year before, I had virtually the same meal, and it was lovely. So people can have off days. You're allowed to say that, and I think you should say that. Darren, Rick's mate, goes to every single restaurant. everything's the best. Never had a bad meal, never had a bad this or a bad that, everything's lovely. I don't like that kind of reviews. I like a bit of honesty, and everyone says they're honest. Well, they're not. Because every restaurant you go to, no matter how good it is, some of them sometimes have an off day. Or some of them sometimes cook it in the way that you wouldn't cook it yourself and you don't like it as much. So I do like the fact that the McMaster says that. I don't mind the fact that he marks it. I've already said in a review, I don't like the way the McMaster keeps showing on the end of his fork, telling us how fluffy the potatoes are when you can't see, telling us how succulent the chicken is when you can't see, asking us to rate it out of 10, and I'm thinking, well, how can we rate a place when we're not eating the food? You can think, well, it looks nice for presentation and the price is nice, but you don't know what it tastes like unless you've had it. And again, in the McMaster's defence, I mentioned that he recommended 3 places in Benidorm a year ago. Have I been to any of them yet? No, I've been to none of them. My wife went 6 months later. I told her to go to all 3. She actually went to 2. She said they were both absolutely beautiful. She wouldn't have gone if he'd not recommended them. So anyway, I think a lot of it's been blown up and it shouldn't have been. And that brings me to the 2 people. I've gone a long way around. I do apologise, folks. But I've less to say about these 2 anyway because I don't watch these 2 as much. So I'm going to tell you about the 2 that I'm looking at and I'll tell you about them. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the reviews of the McMaster. In fact, I don't work off script, I never do. I've not looked at anything before now. I'm going to now. I'll mention the 2 people. I do the same all the time. I tell you when I've started and how many subscribers I've got, when they started, how many they've got. This is where we're at. I started my channel in April of this year. I think it started in March, but my first videos went out in April. So it's 9 months old. As of a week ago, when I first put number 1 out in this series, I was on about 1,270 subscribers. I was on 1,270. Done reasonably well from starting from nothing. As I've said to everybody, no friends and relations. I've got friends and relations don't even know I'm on here. No friends and relations have passed my name on to other friends and relations and other workers and stuff. It's all come from people seeing stuff on YouTube and subscribing or not. I've got this thing here that you may have seen. I don't keep pointing it out. It's because virtually everybody on YouTube, please, if you like what you see, subscribe. Click the thumbs up, click this, click that, click, and it does my head in. I know you've got to do it. We've got to grow our channels. We're monetising and we're doing it to earn money. I finally got monetised only late November, early December, and I've earned a pittance. But I don't have the watches a lot have, and I don't have the subscribers, which is fine. I'll get there. And even though some are going to be looking at me saying, you won't, well, I will. I know I'll get there. Because I know what I do is good for certain people, even though it's not for others. And I know everything I say comes as honest as you can. Everything I say I believe. I don't make things up. The things I'm going to say about these channels now, I've said this on all the videos I've done on this series. There's nothing comes from a nasty side of things to be nasty. I've got no envy, no jealousy, no nothing, and I wish nothing but good on all the channels I review. Even the ones that I look at that I don't watch as much or that I don't like. I've got no bad against any of them. I'll just tell you as I see things. But as I say, I've started, got to 1270, and it's just from people seeing it on and passing it to others or whatever else. That's it. I'm happy with what I've done thus far. I want to do more, but I'm happy. The 2 channels we're going to look at today, which will be both on video 8, which will be the numbers 8 and 9. Number 8 is a chap called DAZ Preston, and number 9, I'm guessing he's called Colin. It's COL's place. They're the 2 I'm going to look at, and the reason I'm going to do 2 in one is I've not got as much to say about those as other channels, because I don't know them as much as I do others, and I don't watch them as much as I do others, although one of them I am going to probably watch a little bit more. Before I do that, I'm going to have one last thing to say. In a moment, we'll start with this. I'll tell you what we'll go with first. We'll go with DAZ Preston. Now, let me just say this to you folks. Whatever you do, please, don't go to that shop there on the corner, because it's crap. Please don't go to that shop. Don't go to that pub there, because last time I went in there, I got E. coli. Is it E. coli or whatever? Crap, don't go there. Don't go to that gym, because they're scrimping on everything, honestly. They're not tying the weights at the end. I was on there the other week and one of the weights fell off. Could have done myself an injury. Don't go in them places. If you follow DAZ's channel, you'll know where I'm coming from. I tuned in the other day, because he put a video out there, and he started with, don't go to that shop there for vapes, because the shop is crap. Don't go to that pub, because the food is crap. How are you? Happy New Year? Or what? Happy Christmas? And then, no, all it is, there's a lot going on at the moment in Tenerife with YouTubers giving bad reviews on things, and it's stirring up a lot of things. And you shouldn't be doing bad reviews. You shouldn't be doing this because of businesses. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Daz, wait a minute. You're just jumping on a bandwagon. That's all you do. And he'll say he's not, but he is, in my opinion. And I'm thinking, I know Rick started this off just Rick. I know you're a really good mate of his. You rave about him. You met him when you was there a couple of months ago. You had drinks with him. You went and seen him perform as a compere. And you went and seen Shelley, and she's brilliant. When you've heard her on YouTube, but she's even better live. All those things, by the way, I'm not knocking you. I agree with. Done it all myself. Fantastic singer. Not a bad compare. No problem at all there. But I'm thinking to myself, you're just sort of joining to be part of something. To be part of with somebody else and trying to back your mates. I'm thinking, no, look into it first before you nail your colours to the mast. And then to that end, I did a little bit more myself. I was going to put this video out yesterday. I'm only recording it now. It's now Tuesday. I'm at now about 5:30. I'm hoping to get this out for about 8:30 tonight. It's now 5:30. It wasn't going to be the last thing I was going to record today. I wanted to do the two tomorrow in the series, video number 9 and number 10. I've not got the time now. They take too long. I'm not going to have time. They're going to have to be done tomorrow. I want to get them all done today, but I've had a lot of output today, more than I've had for the last 2 weeks. I've had a lot of other videos came out earlier with the normal stuff that I normally do. But I listened to his stuff and I thought, I'm going to say something about what you've just said, and I'm also going to mention COL's place. And then I thought, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do a bit of research first so you know what you're saying is correct. And he was saying you shouldn't put these videos out, and people have been accused for using clickbait, and they shouldn't use clickbait. He said, I used a bit once about when I was away. I went, and one of the party that I was in, she had broke her foot or whatever else, and he said the steps weren't great on the place we was in, and I put something about it, and I put a picture up of her broken foot, and that was a bit clickbaity, but I only did it to show people what could happen. And I thought, well, you're saying you've done the same, but you only did it for this. Well, the Map Master only gave his review of the food because it wasn't very good. What's he done wrong there? As I say, now yourself, DAZ, you might be like me. You might not know what the video was. I mean, I've seen on Just Rick's comment section, although I've not commented, lots of people have asked, was it the Map Master, was it the Night Strider, blah, 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 blah. A couple of people have come on and said it was the Map Master, but he won't say it. They've said, what is the video? He won't say it. They've said, oh, is it still up there? And he says, I believe it is, but I don't want to say what it is, which I don't understand all of this palaver. I mean, at the end of the day, how can anybody else that's watched Rick's video have an opinion of what the Map Master said on the video if nobody knows what the video is? I still don't know what the video is, and I'm guessing it's Harriet's, but I don't know. But I would suggest, as if you watch that video on Harriet's, what he said isn't particularly bad. If you watch the end of it and you see the good things they say about Harriet's, all three of them, I'm thinking, well, they're saying it was a bad meal today, but every other time we've been in there, it's been brilliant. And like I said, the places the Map Master goes, he goes them nearly every time he goes to Tenerife, from what I can see. The same as Dan John does when he goes. Most of the places they go are places they're revisiting. Not always, but most of them. So he's probably been there 2 or 3 times before. If he's been there 2 or 3 times when he's gone to review again, he's not going to review a crap place. But you said all that, DAZ, and I thought to myself, right, I want to first look at whether you've clickbaited before. And I'm looking down, and what did I find? These are the bits that I need. Bear with me a sec. Right. Vax! That's the cleaner, the cleaner, vac cleaner. Stop using DPD. They do not deliver. I even watched the videos, and you complaining that DPD, the courier service, went past your home, didn't deliver the vax, blah, 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 blah. Well, you're right, they didn't do, and they should have done it, and you're right to say something. But looking at it, it looks like clickbait, and it looks like DPD are no good. The worst one of the lot, I would suggest, TV aerial guy, he is ripping us off. £140. But if I can buy the parts from B&Q for £27. So the guy from the TV aerial place came and fitted an aerial. It fits the aerial. When he's fitted it, the reception's still so bad in where he is, it needs signal boosting. And he wants to charge another 140. DAZ goes to a B&Q, buys a signal booster for 27 quid, fits it himself, and it works. DAZ, you've done right. No wrong there at all. You've saved yourself a few quid. The aerial guy, they should have a thing where when they put the aerial up, you say, well, when it works, I want to be able to see all the stations, because if I don't want to pay it. And he says, yeah. Or he says, well, well, if it doesn't all work, we'll need a signal booster, but this will be X amount of pounds extra. And at that time, they will probably charge 30, 40 quid extra as opposed to the 140. But once they put the aerial up, then they want another fee. They're going away, blah, and another call, buying it, blah, and they want to make more money. And DAZ, you're right to call it out. Now, in your defence, you didn't say the aerial guy's name. Had you have done that, it's just like the Mapmaster calling any restaurant. But because you didn't say the aerial guy's name, it's not stopping anyone using that aerial guy. So you're not affecting his business like Just Rick would say the Mapmaster can affect that business, okay? But I would say to that, if you've been ripped off by an aerial guy and I live in that area, I would want to know the name of the person that you've been ripped off by. Because if I know who it is, I won't use them. Do you get where I'm coming from? So there's nothing wrong in letting people know who it is. There's nothing wrong in that clickbait. I would want to see that and see who it is. If I live near you, I would want to know who this is. So you've used the clickbait to get people in, but then you've not said who it is. I think that's wrong. Now, the thing is, you're sort of saying aerial guys, aerial companies, watch it, folks. You're saying at the end they can rip you off. They'll charge you and charge again. So if you go B&Q and buy this, you save yourself some money because they're ripping us off. So then you're tarring all aerial guys with the same brush. You're saying if you live in an area where the reception is bad, they'll come and put your aerial up for X amount of pounds, but they're not telling you if it's not working, they're going to want to come again and charge it again. Well, you're then knocking out all aerial guys. So I might think, well, if I live in an area where the reception's not good, I'll have my aerial done, but I'm not going to let them rip me off because I've seen that on DAZ's channel. And really, you've helped me, which I'm pleased about, but you're only doing what the Mapmaster's done to his restaurant. You're giving a bad review for the aerial guy like he did for a restaurant. What's wrong in that? So he uses clickbait, you use it. You think yours is okay, his isn't. He's not come on a website and said, oh, DAZ Preston, aerial guys, blah, 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 blah. He's not called you. Now, don't get me wrong, one of the reasons he's not called you is probably not seen the video. Another reason he's not called you is your small stuff compared to him. And I don't mean that in a nasty way, but that's what he'd probably be thinking. You know, but let me tell you this about the Mapmaster before we go fully to your channel and COL's channel. I looked at this with the Mapmaster today. I did this today. I said I wanted to do my research. 19 hours ago, he did something on cars, 25,000 views. A day ago, something on cars, 27,000 views. 2 days ago, a food review, 24,000 views. 3 days ago, food review, 29,000 views. You might not know where I'm coming from here, but I will tell you. 3 days ago, he mentioned he's finishing Tenerife vlogs forever. He's not going to do any more on the back of the Just Rick thing. 47,000 views. It's gone a lot more because of the subject matter. Like Rick's has gone a lot more than normal because of the subject matter. 4 days ago, car review, 51,000. 7 days ago, food, 23,000. 5 days ago, flight home, 29,000. 2 weeks ago, flight out, 42,000. Clickbaited a bit there because it's in the worst airport in the northwest. So people are clicking on. I get now how it works. I'm not that clever myself, but I get it. 1 month ago, a hotel stay, 35,000. 8 days ago, a pub crawl and food, 25,000. Now, they came up on this order on the screen. I've not gone looking for them. This one means something to me because I've seen this one. 2 weeks ago, food review, 23,000. That was in Tenerife. It was in the Ginger Pig. I stay near the Ginger Pig, so I know it well. 3 people went in there, probably the same 3 people that Rick's talking about in the review that never went down so well. 3 people at there. They said on TripAdvisor at the moment, someone saying it's the best restaurant in Tenerife. They went there. All 3 of them had different meals. All 3 of them absolutely loved the food. All gave it 10 out of 10. Nobody's calling them for that. But that's what they honestly thought, and that's what they gave. So why do we call them for giving a lower mark to somebody else if they really believe the food was substandard that day? What I'm getting at here is, DAZ, it's been said that the Mapmaster is using clickbait to get more views. The Mapmaster at the moment, I think, because we did something on it the other day. What's he on at the moment? Bear with me a sec. 146,000 subscribers. They back that up. I think nothing on there's less than 20,000. Does he really need clickbait on a video to get another, say, 5,000 subscribers on the top of a 20 or 25,000 subscribe one? I don't think he does. He does a bit of clickbait, I suppose he does. Yes, he does, because that's part of what they do on YouTube, and he's well versed at it and knows what he's doing. But I don't think clickbait in any of his videos are going to make him a lot more rich, however rich he already is. they might put, as I say, 5,000 or 20,000 review, or 3,000 or 30,000 review, but that's not going to have a massive effect. Virtually everything he does gets over 20,000 views. So I don't think he's thinking to himself, right, I'm going to do something derogatory on it, something bad, use it as clickbait just to get even more money. I don't think he thinks that way. He doesn't have to. So I don't think, Daz, you should have been on there a couple of days ago saying clickbaiting, it's bad, blah, 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 and don't call things in Tenerife. I don't think he's done a lot wrong. I've come up more that way as the days have gone on. Yet I fully agreed to a great extent with what Rick said. Weird as it is. Right, Daz, so anyway, looking at some of his videos, I mean, like, another thing, he'd been away to Tenerife this year. He stayed in Los Geronimos, I think it was called, the apartment block near the Temple Bar. Did a couple of reviews from there. I watched them, quite enjoyed them. But what I couldn't understand about it, and what I didn't like is, he's done a review on the place, said the accommodation was great. Then at the end of it, he's gone outside and said, right, the person that owns this apartment owns, I think he said he owns 5 or 6 others, and I can get you that apartment cheaper. If you ring a number that I'll put in a link, you ring a number and quote my name, you'll get 10% off. Well, I thought 2 things with that, Daz, that were wrong, and maybe you have a think about it, let me know if I'm right or not. Number 1, you didn't take your camera into the apartment and show us it. Now, I can understand maybe you've gotten there and maybe you've messed it up a bit as you've just plonked all your things down. When me and the wife get anywhere, the apartment can look a mess when we first get in. It can look a mess halfway in if we've not tidied it up. But if I wanted to do pictures to show people, I'd tidy it up and take my camera on, take pictures and send a video off. Sister-in-law did one of a place they've just stayed in the Lake District over the weekend for New Year's Eve. But you've not shown pictures, and I'm thinking, well, how on earth can you're trying to get money for somebody for an apartment that none of us have seen? Surely you take photographs, and that's number 1. Number 2 is, as far as I know, that apartment block is a residents only, and they're not allowed to have anybody in other than residents and family. Maybe you did know that, maybe you didn't, but I do know that, and that is right. Now, I don't know if the person that owns the apartment that you were in knows that you posted that. Maybe he does because you mentioned 10%. I'm surprised he's done it. I'm surprised he has because he could get into some trouble. Or maybe they're relaxing rules there now, or maybe he's got that many, he's that well thought of, he can just say it and get away with it. But I do know that apartment block is definitely residents only, and you're not supposed to be renting them out to anybody. I know that for a fact. So I thought that was strange on 2 points. But I'm watching the videos, and Daz I don't watch as much. And the reason I don't watch as much, he doesn't do as many, but I don't think he has as much content. And I think he's struggling for content, and I think struggling for subjects. And I don't know, he doesn't grip me like some do. I think he's probably a nice fella. I think if I met him in Tenerife, I'd have a pint with him, no problem, and get on with him. Might not want a pint with me, but I think I would with himself. But I don't think there's a lot of content there. And it was strange, I noticed in a video I seen last night when I'm doing the research, he mentioned his brother-in-law's got a channel, and his partner there, is it Jan? I think she's called Jan's just going to set up a channel. He mentioned it 3 or 4 days ago. Jan's setting up a channel, Jan's going to do it. She's going to look at it. She doesn't know what to do yet or what on, but she's going to do it in a few days. And I'd like to know how many would be interested. I'd like to know how many would want to subscribe. Then I noticed he mentioned something yesterday about, if you want to subscribe, let me know it. Or, subscribe. It's not. And then I think I seen a video yesterday where he's put the address up of the site, and he said, if you want to subscribe, it's not open yet. She's going to do one in 2 or 3 days, but just subscribe. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. How can you ask people to subscribe to something when they've never seen anything? They don't know what she's like behind the camera. They don't know what it's going to be all about. They don't know if they're going to enjoy it. Now, I know it's all communities and people like people, so they do have the goodness of their own art, but I thought, that's not the way to go about things. Well, I wouldn't have thought so anyway. But anyway, Daz's channel, where's Daz? Bear with me a sec. Daz Preston, started in April 2014, and he's got 1,990 subscribers. So 2014, 1,990. I watch it now and again. It's not one I watch regularly. Right, we'll go to the next channel now, COL's Place. COL's Place, while I'm on it now, because I've got it in front of me, started in January 2022. Got 3,750, 3,750. I would suggest Daz is doing pretty well. Right, Daz does all manner of videos. He does a lot in Tenerife. I think he's from Bournemouth. I think he might be a karaoke DJ, I think he said. I think he's from Bournemouth. Knows a fair few people that vlog already. I know he's got links to Just Rick, as it turns out. I think he's got links to a guy called the Crap Master. I've seen him with him. And I noted last night he's got links to the McMaster. I didn't know that before yesterday because I was doing that research on both of these channels and more on what's gone on over the weekend. So anyway, COL's place. I came across COL the first time only about 5 or 6 months ago. He did a couple of videos that I didn't mind, and then he did one that I absolutely loved. And I think I've seen him do 2 along the same vein. More about them in a minute, but I love them. One of the videos he did was one of the best 3 or 4 videos I've seen from all the Tenerife vloggers. I said it a few minutes ago in a... I shouldn't say who I've done already because I don't want to push it. I want you to look for it and want it if you want it. I did something on Darren John. Darren John did one of the 4 or 5 best videos I've seen since I've been watching YouTube from a Tenerife vlogging perspective, but he didn't do it in Tenerife, he did it in London. Darren did one that's one of the best 4 or 5 I've seen. This guy did another one of them. He might have done 2, but one especially. Thought it was fantastic. I'll say more about it in a minute. But COL, I like COL, and I like his style. I think he's a nice fella. I've seen a couple when he's been there this year. He's been there again, and I must admit, I prefer the ones he does on his own rather than with his mates. He's been with a couple of mates this last time he's been, or the time before it. He's been twice in the space of about 2 or 3 weeks. I think he went for 4 or 5 days, came away for 4 days, went back for a fortnight, or vice versa, which I thought was a bit strange, but hey-ho. But I like him more when he's on his own rather than with other people. I think it's just that I've took to him more than his pals, but we're all different, aren't we? We all have different opinions and different outlooks, views and whatever. But I like him. He did a video that I think he did it a day or so before New Year's Eve, put it out on New Year's Eve, one of his what he calls lives, where he just talks to the camera, like Rick and Shelley do, and messages are coming across and he's answering them whilst he's live. And I've seen him do one other. Now I didn't watch the whole one the other day, it was about 1 hour and 3/4 long, but I've seen a fair bit of it, and I liked it. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at it, in fact I've wrote the figures on here, I think it's been seen by about, is it 3,000 to 5,000 people? Bear with me a sec. Do you know, I can't find it, but it doesn't really matter because I know what I'm going to say. It's been seen by, say, 3,000 to 5,000 people. Might be less, it's not by a hell of a lot of people. And I thought, I know somebody else that does these vlogs, that does lives and does them regularly, and this person might get between 15,000 and 25,000 for him. And Colin here is getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, whatever it might be. And I thought to myself, well, I think Colin's, the 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000 viewed one, is much, much, much superior to this guy that get 15,000, 20,000, 25,000. I thought it's just a shame. But a lot of it's down to what fan base you've got behind you at the moment. Colin's relatively new and lower, and this other guy's got a lot more, which obviously does help. Plus this other guy sensationalises things a fair bit where Colin doesn't. But I enjoyed Colin's more, and I enjoyed the one last night. And Colin went into various things again to do with the McMaster, and I think he actually was the first person to mention the McMaster, and maybe he might have mentioned just Rick. He might not have done, but I think he did. But he had to mention the McMaster because people put in his comments, and he just read it. And he said, look, I don't want to get in a slanking match. I don't want to get between it all. I like them both. I've got nothing against anybody. He said, I've actually spoke to Lee only earlier today after he put his video out, so he must be close to him. I said a minute ago, I didn't know that when I was reviewing DAZ's channel. I didn't know he was close to the McMaster. And he said, I've told him I don't think he should quit Tenerife, blah, 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 blah. He said he meant it, and I think he's going to stick to it, but I don't think he should, but it's up to him. He said, I told him that he was one of the pioneers there, and it got off the ground because of him, and a lot of people have earned money on the back of him, which I totally agree with. And he said, I know reviews can hurt businesses, but that said, he's a YouTuber, and I think he should be able to do what he wants to do, and we all should. I like that, because I know Colin is a mate of Rick's, and he's not calling Rick at all, but he's saying he also believes Lee should be able to do what he wants to do. Yeah, I think he also said the other YouTubers should. He said we all should. I agree with that. I think that's the right sentiments. He said he doesn't want to get in anybody's camp. He's in the middle of it all, but he's got nothing against anybody. I liked it all. I liked the fact that as comments were coming through, he was reading them properly. Because I've seen other people that do these lives and comments come through about other vloggers and they won't mention the names, or they'll read part of a comment, or they'll say, I'm not going to answer that, or I don't want to, and I don't get it. If you bring a subject up and you talk about the subject, you've got to have full transparency and talk about it fully. In fact, I'm bouncing back into it. It's Rick probably in the main. He does that a lot in his comment section when he's doing stuff with Shelley on a weekend. And again, in his comment section on the video he's done about this McMaster review, As I said, people are saying, what's the restaurant? I don't want to say it. Is it still up there? I believe it is, but who is it? I don't want to say it. Well, I think once you start this, you've got to, you can't say I'm big enough to say all of this, and I don't think someone should be doing all this and not say who it is. I don't think you can anyway. And Rick always trades on being honest and truthful and blah, 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 and his followers say all of this. Well, he should run that through and flesh the whole thing out, I think. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. And I'm not part of this fight. I've not got a dog in the fight at all. As I understand both where they're coming from. But anyway, Cole was in the middle, but Colin was reading his things out and I thought they were great. Back to what I liked of Colin's, and it's definitely this because it's who we're talking about. Colin did something a few months ago. I think he's done a few. I think I've seen more than one. I might have seen one with the Crackmaster. But that might have been with Rick. But I think it was with the Crackmaster, Colin and the Crackmaster. I've definitely seen one with Rick. He did a walk and talk with Rick, where he says, what I do on this thing, Rick, is I walk around with a camera, I ask questions. For me, no questions are off limits. If there's any you don't want to answer, don't answer them. But he said, they come at me and I think of them and they just come out. Are you comfortable with that? Can you do that? He said, I want to get my subscribers to know more about you. And Rick said, yeah, go on, I'll do it. And they did it. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And I mean, absolutely brilliant. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, oh my God, this Rick in many ways is sort of a mirror image of me. What I mean is our working lives, our lives to an extent in it. There's lots about my life and his that are spot on, although they're massively different. There's even more about our working life that's spot on, although they're slightly different. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And I would not have known as much as I know about Rick if it wasn't for Colin. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. That is one of the best things I've seen on YouTube while I've been watching the Tenerife vloggers. Thought it was absolutely great. Really, really good. So hats off to you for that one, Colin. I've never met you. Maybe one day I'll see you there. But I thought, that's something. I mean, before I even started my YouTube channel, I've seen that, I think. And I thought, if I ever had a YouTube channel and I was brave enough to go in front of a camera, because I didn't think I'd ever go in front of a camera, I thought, even I'd do that with him because I got something out of that. And to that end, I've said already for Christmas, I said it again for Christmas, I'm going to do something on here about my life and my working life and how I've got from being a kid to doing what I'm doing now. The only reason I'm not doing it this Christmas, as I was going to, is I don't have enough subscribers yet. I've got subscribers and I'm doing pretty well, but I can do some videos that are watched by 10, 15, 20, 30 people. Because if YouTube don't push it on, and they don't unless lots see it quickly and lots give the thumbs up, they don't get pushed on. It's the weirder subjects that I talk about, the things like politics or scandal. They're my videos that get watched. And I don't even clickbait them, they just get watched because of the subjects I'm covering and the hot topics at the moment. Things like I'm doing now don't get watched. I've done stuff on YouTubers with 500,000 followers, 100,000 followers. They might be seen by 20 people. But I do know what will happen further down the line. Most all these videos will get seen by more people because people will tell the creators, the YouTube channel people, that someone's put this out and it'll get talked about in forums and people will see it. And then when they look at one where I'm praising this guy, they'll want to look at that one where I'm calling this guy and vice versa. And they will get seen. I do know in time they'll get seen. But I didn't want to spout my life story on here to 5, 10 or 15 people. So what I'm going to do, wait till I get 3,000 subscribers. I think I know then anything that I put out, especially anything that's serious, will get 300 or 400 looks at. Well, as long as I'm getting 300 or 400, it's worth doing. It's not worth doing for 10, 15, 20 people. It's just not worth it. But I got that idea from you, Colin. That was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was great. And again, the live you did a few days ago that I watched only last night in research for this, thought it was really good. Thought it deserved more watches. Just because I like your honesty and I like the things you were saying about what's gone on in Tenerife over the weekend between Rick and the Mapmaster. I thought it was really good. So, DAZ, Preston, watch now and again. Might see the odd bit, but it's not something I regularly watch. But if I see his name come up and it's something I'm interested in, I will watch it. Cole's Place, I'll watch more of, but I'll especially be watching those where he walks with other people. If you do any of them anywhere, Colin, even if it's over Britain or anywhere, famous people, not so famous people, people from different backgrounds, I would suggest, Colin, if I were you, I would look at doing something like that with various people that you may know. Not necessarily mates, but people you may know. Anybody famous-ish from Bournemouth, or not so famous, that have a story to tell, something with something about them, because you're good at it. It was really, really good. Anyway, that's it from me. I did show the thing up here, didn't I? I showed it to everybody. I'm sure I did. I hope I did. I hope I've shown that. I might not have shown that. I show it to everybody at the start. Listen, I'm going to read it in case I didn't show it. I don't think I've shown it. I do say, when I set these videos out, I say to everybody, that said, if you've just watched my review on a channel that you follow, meaning DAZs or COLs, presented by a presenter that you no doubt love, be it DAZ or COL, if you watch the channel regular, you'll like them. Please, I'm saying to you, please, before having a go at me, watch my video that I put out last Thursday night entitled, Why Did I Start a YouTube Channel? Please watch that. Why did I start a YouTube channel? It tells you about why I started it, and it tells you who I watch, why I watch them, and what's the reasons behind them, and what I get from them all. From DAZ, with this, I don't think I've gained anything that I want, and I need to use one, blah, blah, blah. From Colin, when he did that one with Rick, I thought, I could do that, I could be involved in that, or I could just do something, talking to the camera myself about what I've done and whatever, because I found learning about Rick really interesting. And I think there's things in my backstory that other people will as well. There'll be things that they don't, but it's things that they will. And I got that idea from COL. So that was absolutely great. So what we tend to do is, I say, if we watch a channel and we like the presenter and somebody does a critique on that channel, us Brits are weird. I don't think I've said this at the start, so I'm saying it. If I say 10 things about a channel, 2 are negative and 8 are positive, the followers of that channel just jump on me for the 2 negative. They don't look at the positive, which the positive far outweighs the negative, but all they look at is the negative. It's the same, it's just the way we are, which is crazy. And I just want people to look at the whole thing. There's been a couple I've reviewed that I've had nothing negative to say at all. Most of them have actually had a couple of things to say that are negative. But I come at this, as I say, on every video I've done on this series. This is number 8, this will be out at 8:30 tonight, which is Tuesday the 2nd. I've got no... I'm just letting you know what I think about the channels I watch, be it positive or negative. I've got no jealousy, no envy, nothing like that. There's nothing, no badness I wish on any single channel. I want them all to do well. I'd like the channel creators all to earn good money from them. They all work hard on them. I appreciate that. But that's it. There's no nastiness in anything I'm saying or doing. So if you want to have a go at me on the keyboards after hearing it, any followers any of these channels, feel free to. It won't bother me. You can say anything you want in my comment section. It'll never get wiped out. You'll never get barred. It's up to yourself. And that's it. If you want to watch another channel that does something totally different than anybody else out there, because it is, you want to have a look, see what it's like, just have a look, jump on board, see what you think. As I say, it's nothing like you used to. No editing, graphics, music, none of that. You know, very, 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 very little clickbait, although now I know a little bit about it. There might be bits on there, but only bits. But I cover a massive, massive range of subjects. Massive. And I get everyone the invite to have an opinion to let me know if I'm right or wrong. Yeah, we agree with that, Grumpy. Oh no, we don't. Because I'm Grumpy, by the way. The channel's called Britain's Grumpiest Old Git. And I am! Though not always. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it, and even if you're not, thanks for watching.